それでは進めていきたいと思います。まず、1つ目の質問。エクストリーム、非常に全世界で成長しているという、今日、印象を持っていただいた皆様も多かったのかなと思いますが、そういった中で日本市場をどのように見ているのか、そういったところに関してのご質問をいただきました。世界戦略、エクストリームが世界で成長していく中において、日本市場をどう見ていますか、どのように日本のビジネスを成長させていく計画ですかという質問に対して、まず、CEO のエドから回答をもらいましょう。
Sure. Thank you. I think, and collectively, our leadership team believes that the Japanese market will be a microcosm for extreme globally, because here we have the best opportunity to leverage our data center solutions, cloud solutions, extend that to campus and also at the edge. We know we have very strong leadership here. I talked about Kinji-san and where culturally he comes from and his approach that's very customer-oriented. We're the same way. And we believe that the growth rates that we're going to achieve in this market are going to be among the highest globally for us. So this is how we consider it. I mentioned earlier, Japan is now our 5th largest market. We are investing more and more resources in this market. It's as a tier 1, and we're providing more support to our local teams here to be more effective and to grow our business. I'm going to pause right there and maybe let Phil or Nabil comment if you'd like to.
Sure. Thanks, Ed. I appreciate it. I would add to everything that Ed said that Japan represents a unique opportunity for me, who has the honor of leading the team here. We are one company. You hear about Avaya, you hear about Extreme, you hear about Brocade, but we are one company focused on one thing, delivering the best solution at every place in the network for each of you. Japan is a very difficult market to understand, and yet our team and I personally have nearly 50 years of experience in this marketplace. We know that the places where we have great technology, those verticals, those industries, are the ones where we've had success, are all represented strongly in the Japanese market. So for us, this is our best opportunity to test the model of one company, one solution, one focus. I think we have the strongest team on the ground. Certainly most of you have had experience with Brocade and the extensive data center team here. We have an equally experienced and powerful team from Extreme and from Avaya that will join together to present one face to you, the customer, across the entire portfolio. So I think our experience here and the experience of our team led by Kinji gives us a unique opportunity to really explore a really fine and different way to solve your problems.
Yeah, I would just add one thing from an engineering and technical point of view. You guys are some of the toughest customers that we have around the world. If we can satisfy the requirements of the Japanese market, then we can pretty much satisfy the requirements of any big customer in the world. So that's one of the reasons why we focus so heavily on the Japanese market, because we learn from you guys. It's not just we are providing products to you. We also learn from you guys, from all your feedback and stuff. So even from a product point of view, Japanese market is very, very important to us.
はい、ありがとうございます。では、2つ目の質問に行きたいと思います。2つ目の製品は、製品もしくは技術のカットについてです。さまざまな実績ある技術、そして製品、こういったものをここ 1,2 年の間で買収統合してきたわけですけれども、これらの技術製品を踏まえて今後統合された製品、ソリューション テクノロジー、そういったものがどういうアプローチで、どのタイミングで今後出てくるのか、そういったところについて聞きたいというご質問を複数の皆様からいただいております。これについては、ではナビルの方からまず回答してもらいたいと思います。
Thank you, Saik-san. That is the question that everybody asks all the time, and that's a great question. I'll tell you this. So there are two parts to my answer. Number one is what happens with the existing technology. As I said earlier, the existing technology keeps on. If you have bought products from any of these companies, you have invested your money in it, and we are going to make sure that you get your money's worth and you have investment protection. But it's not just about money. You have also invested time and energy in building skills around these products. If you learned our CLI, well, you have built skills around it. If you used our automation, you have built skill around it. So that's the second part where our commitment comes in, that the skills that you have generated around these products will do two things with that. One, those skills will still stay relevant because those products still stay relevant. The second one is we're going to bring those technologies over to other portions of the network as well. For example, the automation stuff that you have heard from Brocade, that is going to go over to the Avaya and Extreme products as well, and they will now be supported in that as well. Similarly, Extreme has perhaps one of the best enterprise management solution that I've seen out there in the market that is also going to be able to manage the Brocade products. The Avaya products are already integrated into that. The Brocades will be done. The early access will be available in February of next year, so in another 3 months. So that's the idea, that not only do you have investment protection, you also have skill protection as well, because that way the things that you have learned, now they're relevant not just to one space in the network, but all the places in the network. And you will see that this cross-pollination of technology between different areas, that will happen very fast. As I mentioned, between Extreme and Avaya, it has already happened. We have already released products that are combined between the two. And with Brocade, data center product, starting early next year, especially on the management and automation side, you'll see a lot of excitement in there.
Thanks, Nabil. I would like to add one thing. The products that we offer you at Extreme are important, but it's easy to miss in Nabil's presentation that being a player in the network space is not enough. The demand that you have, the requirement you have, crosses domains from your application layer through your network into your data layer, certainly the distributed connectivity. They're all relevant. And the other thing that comes into play here with this strategy is that each company that's now the new Extreme has brought a set of partners and skills associated with collaborative partners in the security space like Palo Alto and like Fortinet. Because of the combination of these three companies, we brought a unique set of partnerships with us. And as a result, we have a complete story for you that goes beyond what we can produce. Our partners like to deal with us and are excited about the future of Extreme because we have created a standards-based, fully open environment which they can interconnect to very, very easily. That's a story that's important to our customers. You can utilize that, but you can utilize our partner community in Japan, which is critically important to help you deliver a solution because products aren't enough. And I think that that's part of the real power of what's happened with the integration of Avaya and Brocade and the Extreme products into a single portfolio.
Well, the only thing that I'll add, I'm not an engineer, but I watch people very closely. And one of my biggest concerns in making acquisitions and bringing companies together is how are the people going to behave, particularly the technical teams. And I have been surprised at how well the teams have come together. I haven't had to separate a lot of fights. Nabil put up on in one of his slides, he talked about the real question everybody wants to know is whose technology is going to win. And our teams, the engineering teams and the product management teams in terms of our roadmap and where we're going have a common vision. The technologies have been very complementary, and the teams have all grasped this very quickly. And so there's alignment with the engineering resources of the 1,300 people that we've hired over the summer who share this vision of where we're going and a common technology platform. So I've been very pleased, and actually I was a bit surprised at how quickly it came together and the alignment of our teams. And I think that's going to make it a lot easier. You can see it inside the company. You can see it in the field. There's consistency of our messaging and delivery, and there's not a lot of questions about what's really going on in there, who's really going to win. So I think what you're hearing from us today will be consistently delivered throughout the field.
はい。では3つ目の質問に進みたいと思います。3つ目の質問ですが、今回イベントのタイトルにもエクストリーム Now ということで、エクストリーム非常に新しいスタートを切ったということを、メッセージとして発信させていただいております。ご質問いただいているのは、なんでそんなに違うって言えるの、何が過去と違うのっていうところについてのご質問です。具体的にどのような変化を得てきたのか、買収したから新しい技術を統合したからだけではない何か別の視点でどういったところがどう変化につながってきたのか、このあたりについて聞いてみたい、そういったご質問をいただいております。ではエドからですかね。
Yeah. Why don't I'll pick this up and then I'll even, you guys have been around for, you've been around for longer than 2 weeks, but there have been a lot of changes at Extreme. I've been on the board for 8 years, and 2.5 years ago I stepped in as CEO. At that point in time, Extreme was trying to play in a lot of different markets and didn't have the focus that the company needed. So we got really focused. Changes, we changed out the entire leadership team for one. I told you about the inverted pyramid in terms of the approach and how we go to market. We restructured the entire organization. We had a services organization that was part of engineering. It doesn't belong there. We created a customer-facing organization, and that has been very well received by our teams as well as our customers and our partners. And we got very focused on delivering on what we say we're going to do. And that is critical. It's critical in generating confidence from our board of directors, from our lender, our shareholders, and our employees. And I'm pleased to say last week we announced our earnings. It was the 10th consecutive quarter in a row where Extreme met or exceeded analyst guidance to Wall Street. It's the 10th consecutive quarter in a row where we exceeded our cash flow forecast to our board and to our company. And it's the 10th consecutive quarter where we're paying bonuses to our employees because we're doing what we're saying we're going to do and delivering. And that has been the foundation and set the groundwork for our ability to acquire these other companies. And we're going to continue our commitment on that front. Our stock has quadrupled. That hasn't been a bad thing for us and for our employees and our teams. And ultimately, it goes all the way back to my comment about Kinji-san and winning. We have a winning culture. This is new. We implemented new values, new core values, driving different behaviors, driving different cultures inside of Extreme. It takes a long time to change culture, but we're doing that actively. The companies that we're acquiring are embracing our culture, and maybe you can comment on that, because coming from environments where there's either a bankruptcy involved or there's a merger involved, and in the case of Zebra, there's a focus on another business. there's almost a homecoming that's happening at the new extreme where we're attracting a lot of talent, a lot of exciting people that are bringing new skill sets, new areas of expertise that are strengthening the new extreme. So I could talk for a long time. I'm going to pause here, and maybe I'll give Phil and Nabil a chance to comment.
So I would actually like to add one personal story. Before I was at Brocade, I ran enterprise sales at Juniper for 7 years. Before that, at the turn of the century, 1997, 1998, I ran a reseller in the United States. And a company called Extreme Networks approached me with a product that I thought was ridiculous. It was a switch that had a 1 gig interface. And I thought to myself, who could ever use a 1 gig interface? We easily forget how innovative Extreme has been in the market. The first 1 gig in history, the first 10 gig switch interface developed by Extreme. And I see with this company, and why I'm so delighted and so excited about being involved here, is they see clearly the future of networking. It is not a box-based appliance solution. It's about automation. It's about workflow automation. It's about visibility into the networks. It's about flexibility and intelligence. And what Ed, and I compliment Ed specifically for this, has configured here with these companies is a company that is already 2 or 3 years ahead of the market. And so history for me is repeating itself. I chose and built a $50+ million relationship with Extreme 20 years ago, which was incredibly wonderful culture, great opportunity for us, for them, and certainly for our customers. That history is repeating itself, and I'm so honored to be a part of that going forward. So thank you, Ed.
I think all that needed to be said, Ed and Phil has said that. I will just add one thing. Saika-san, you asked me what's the difference. You asked us what's the difference between the traditional Extreme and the new Extreme. I say the difference is sitting in this room. Most of you guys were not customers of traditional Extreme. You are now customers of the new Extreme, and you are going to continuously help us build better technologies, better networks, and make us into the real company that we are supposed to be, right? The best in the networking, and we'll only do it with you guys, our customers and our partners. To me, that's the biggest difference, between the two, but that's just me.
では、エグゼクティブ Q&A セッションの方はこちらで終了となります。はい、ではエド、フィル、ナビル、ありがとうございました。
Thank you.